What do you guys think about the training that we're seeing in this video? Did you notice anything in particular that happens when she's corrected? Comment below. And next, we're going to go over what her treatment plan is and how she's doing.
Okay. So we'll just kind of same deal, read this out loud here as we're watching this. Dog training can cause aggression. Athena being corrected over and over led to what you'll see next, which is obviously Athena, her trying to get this dog off the couch. Said Athena, the Rottweiler, is being told to get off the couch. She associates the word no with the training you saw previously. She pulls her down. Athena jumps up and starts biting at her hand and then goes back to try to bite the blanket on the mom. And then she pulls her off. Just looks like a fucking disaster. Athena's being corrected with the e-collar and prong collar repeatedly. As a result, she is suddenly aggressive towards the other dog in her household. And worse, she became aggressive towards her human owners. Associating people and other dogs with pain during their training leads to aggression. And then she says, what do you guys think about the training we're seeing in this video? Blah, blah, blah. Okay. So the reason why I sent this one to myself is because, first and foremost, I don't know anything about this dog, obviously. I just see these videos she posted highlighting, obviously, the dog being corrected on the walk for being reactive towards another dog, her trying to correct the dog, get the dog to get off of the couch, the dog turning and biting her, this and that. And what Thinking Canine is saying is that the training caused those problems, right? I don't believe it. I don't believe it in the slightest. I've worked with so many Rottweilers, and I will tell you, they are a fucking headstrong asshole breed.
Yeah.
That is it. You know what I mean? Like, and like, I know people like give you shit like, oh, you shouldn't call the dogs assholes. You know, that mentality is what they are, a very, very dominant breed. Yeah. They do not handle being told what not to do well, right? And I would bet you that this dog signed up for training initially because it had all these problems to begin with. The dog was probably highly reactive, which is something we commonly see with Rottweilers prior to ever doing training.
Yeah.
These dogs get very defensive and territorial over conflicting situations, which we see over and over again prior to ever doing training with them. And what happens is if you're ineffectively training the dog, yes, she is correcting this dog repeatedly over and over and over again, right? Yeah. Well, then we're not doing anything aside from teach the dog that if you fight the punishment, you win, right? The punishment you're applying is not effective enough. It doesn't mean punishment at its core doesn't work, because punishment by definition reduces behavior, right? Yeah. So if we're finding that we're correcting over and over again and the behavior is not being reduced, as a trainer, as an owner, whatever, we should take a step back and say, why isn't the punishment we're applying effective right now? And the more you teach the dog to blow off punishment, the more problems you create in the long run.
Yeah.
Right? Same deal with, she equated the correcting on the walk to the acting aggressively in the house towards the woman. And she said that she associated the word no with pain, which is why she acted aggressive. That is not at all what happened. You could tell she tried to get the dog to get down from the couch like 3 times, told the dog no, the dog didn't do anything. So instead she went to go grab the dog to pull the dog off the couch, which I don't give a shit what kind of training you do. You do that to a dog that you haven't adequately trained, that dog is going to turn around and give you some serious fucking attitude over it, right?
Yeah, it's going to be pissed.
Regardless of the training, right?
Yeah.
And that is exactly what happened. The dog turned around and said, fuck you, and tried to bite the woman over it, and then went right back to what it was doing, which was bite at the blanket and bite at the person laying there. And they didn't show what happened before she started telling the dog to get off, but I would bet she was telling the dog to get off of that person because it was doing that same thing prior.
Yeah.
So you can't sit there and say, look, all of this was caused by the training. The dog never had these behavioral issues prior to training, because why did they hire a trainer in the first place then? People don't just get prong collars and e-collars and work with trainers with dogs like this unless they had behavioral issues to begin with.
Yeah.
That just ain't how it works.
No.
Right? But instead she's using it to showcase, obviously, that apparently the dog is with her or something. Let's see if I can find real quick if there is some sort of like update. She said, treatment plan coming next.
Yeah, like
Here we go. Okay, yeah, just watched. Let's see if I can find anything else.
How does punishment cause a dog to become aggressive towards their owners or other dogs or people they like? I'm Gia, I'm a dog behavior expert, and I'm going to explain to you how. Dogs don't speak English, so when we punish them, it is impossible for us to tell them exactly why they're being punished.
Not true literally at all.
No.
That is what markers are for. Markers are able to identify an exact moment in time that you are trying to create an inhibition for. That is how you, that is literally how you tell them. Because by saying this, we could say there is absolutely no way we could tell our dog what they're getting rewarded for.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, which we know that that's fucking bullshit all the time.
Punished. We can't have a conversation with them. And that goes true for rewards too. So,
What do you mean it goes true with rewards too? Then why does positive reinforcement work?
Right.
Why do you see increases in behavior?
Right.
when we punish a dog or reward the dog, they need lots of repetition in order to make a lasting association between the punishment or the reward and what.
That is also not 100% true. So lots of repetitions for rewards in order for them to learn what the reward is being given for. Punishment, because it is a much stronger and actually, let me clarify here. I almost don't want to finish my statement here because I need a little bit more. I need a little bit more information to fully say it. But punishment, dogs will learn how to avoid punishment faster because generally speaking, the punishers we're providing are more of a motivation to avoid than the rewards we're providing are a motivation to get. I'll finish that next podcast episode.
Okay.
They're doing. Now, with punishment, what can end up happening is the dog draws the wrong conclusion. So they don't know why they're being punished and they think it's because, hey, a dog just showed up. Hey, a person is here. And they form an association between pain and fear with that thing.
That is only if you don't provide it consistently enough. I'm trying to figure out a way to clarify this, right? You could get a slight, we call it superstitious association with something. But at worst, if it truly is punishment we're using, meaning it's aversive enough to the dog to want to avoid, the dog would not act aggressively towards that thing. The dog would avoid it more intensely until they realize that the punishment is only coming when they try to bite the person, not just being in the presence of the person. If you're finding that the behavior is increasing, you're not actually using punishment.
Yeah.
It's not suppressing anything at that point. Does that make sense? Did I say that clear enough? Okay.
It was getting a little convoluted.
Let me try again here.
Yeah.
Punishment suppresses behavior.
Yes.
Right? So, if we're punishing and the dog is not clear what they're getting punished for, right? Let's say I want to punish a dog for, we'll just use a trash can as an example, right? I punish the dog for sticking their head in the trash can and grabbing something out of it. They are not going to try to get something more intensely from the trash can because they think that the trash can is what bit them.
Okay.
They're going to stay further away from the trash can
Yes.
as a whole. They're going to say, maybe it's being around the trash can.
Yeah.
That's getting me corrected. Same would apply for reactivity. If we punish reactivity and they associate that punishment with the other dog, they're not going to try to attack the dog more intensely. No. They're going to try to just stay away from the dog altogether, right? So if you use effective punishment and you do see a short-term superstitious association, that's where we'll see avoidance, right? The dog avoids the dog altogether, avoids the person altogether, right? They don't try to go towards it more quickly, right? And then as repetition goes along and they try to avoid the person, right? And they don't get punished. They try to avoid the person and don't get punished. That avoidance gets less and less and less. And this is also under the guise that your timing sucks with things, right?
True.
Avoidance gets less and less and less. And then they start realizing, oh, wait a minute, I could be next to this person. And as long as I don't lunge at them, I don't get a correction for it. So they start realizing more specifically through repetition what it is that they're actually getting corrected for.
Yeah.
Just like in her case, she's had a lot of repetitions for rewards, a lot of repetitions for punishment. So I'll retract what I said initially, which is she is correct about that, but it doesn't have the side effects she's implying here, which is that it's going to make the dog's behavior worse towards the person.
Yeah.
If anything, at worst, it will make the dog avoid that thing more intensely, temporarily, and that will be your side effect if you're actually using punishment.
Yeah.
If you're just using naggy corrections and you're teaching the dog to fight through it, yes, you will intensify the behavior that you're seeing because the dog is learning that conflict is happening. I could overcome the conflict if I fight hard enough, but that is not punishment.
Yeah.
That is a shit attempt at punishment at that point.
That's